Good morning, everybody. And yes, I was up at Leeds Business School. Very buoyant. You gave me a lot of questions, so I've been through them. So this is the video. It's going to go up on YouTube, hopefully to answer the questions, keep the conversation going. Okay, great. So, well, let's get going. How to get business ideas. Well, I know I always wondered about where I was going to get the great business idea that was totally original. But you know what I think? I think the main thing to get a good business idea, what you have to do is stop worrying about the idea and go out and find the things that you love. Go out and identify your passions. And when you've found your passions, then turn them into a business. And in that way, you'll have the motivation and the stamina to last the course, because being an entrepreneur and running your own business ain't easy. Of course, to find your passions, what that means, you've got to get off your ass and you've got to do things. You've got to try things. You know, for example, in my career, I first went into banking. I wanted to make lots of money, but I really didn't enjoy banking before I went to the creative industries. So, you know, go and try lots of things. Don't worry if it's a job or a career or a hobby or interest you're not sure about. Find out what you enjoy, and then, whether you like sport, whether you like travel, whether you like food, whether you like research. That's what I would do. That's my quick bit of concise advice there. So that one done. This is a question about group discussion. What if I find in a group discussion that my view doesn't win the day? But I suppose this is about teamwork, isn't it? And persuasion and negotiation skills. And I got to tell you, these skills are critical for entrepreneurial attitude and for success. How you contribute to a group, how you help shape its ideas, how you influence. All of these things are really key. So my advice to you is this, is keep going to these groups and try different things. Try speaking up. Be brave, be bold, and put a reasoned and passionate answer on the table. I think that would be my advice. What you have to do is push your comfort zone. You're just playing it safe. You're being a bit agreeable. So I'd be brave, I'd be bold, and try different factors, and you might win the day. I'll tell you what I really hate. I hate people who go into team meetings and all they do is play the devil's advocate. They never put anything positive down. They just put the opposite argument to the good idea. That always really annoys me. Anyway, what suggestions have you for those who don't want to start their own business at all? So I think it's fine. You don't have to start your own business. Believe you me, it's hard. It's very hard. But I'll tell you this, entrepreneurial skills, they are going to help. They're going to help you be successful in your career. And these are the soft skills that I'm talking about. Leadership skills, presentation skills, persuasion skills, networking skills, listening skills. These are all essential. But being successful, as an employee, if you ain't got those skills, you're going to find it hard to find success there. So, don't worry about it. If you don't want to start your own business, be entrepreneurial within other people's business. And you never know, eventually you might change your mind and decide you want to make money for yourself rather than for some other bugger. That's what I did. Anyway, how can I compete with other people if I have no work experience and I'm just a graduate? So you may not like this answer, but you need to get some work experience and make yourself interesting. Lots of people have a good degree from a good university. So it's about all the other things that make you interesting, not only developing your soft skills, but also, getting involved in charities, getting involved in societies, getting some interesting work experience. So, you need it, because if you don't have it, you're going to find it harder in the competitive world. I've got to say, getting work experience as well is an intelligent game. I get people ask for work experience. They just send me an email with 3 lines. Do you offer work experience? I'm really interested in creative events and experiences. That's not enough. You have to really put an intelligent sales campaign together. Did your kids inspire you during the time that you started your business? Without a doubt, you want to give them as much as you can. So in that sense, they definitely inspired me in my entrepreneurial endeavor because I wanted to be as successful as possible, because I think that there was a huge driver to give them as much opportunity, whether it be education, music lessons, sport opportunities, or even travel and holidays. So definitely, I think having a family inspires you. My oldest now is nearly 21. Whoa, there we go. What are your thoughts about having multiple sources of income? I think in the early part of your career, I think that's probably a little bit risky or dangerous, because if you try and progress too many things at once, what happens is nothing progresses. Yes. You have to be all in. That's what's so hard about being an entrepreneur. When you start a business particularly, it is 24/7, 365 days of the year. You eat it, you drink it, you sleep it, you talk it, you worry about it. I have 3 businesses now, but I've been an entrepreneur for 23 years. So I didn't even look at the second business till probably 10 years in. Okay, I really like this question. How do you manage your time well?
Wow.
I am obsessed. Actually, I think I have a problem. I love lists. And I prioritize those lists every day. I have a separate list for each of the 3 businesses because I know exactly what I've got to do and when I've got to do it. And I look at those lists every day. Now, but managing your time is absolutely critical. Yeah. I also think a good thing about managing your time is be quite clear, particularly in business, about what is it you want to get out of the time that you're spending. Another really key thing for managing your time well is recognizing when you need help. I always say to people, the minute you think you need help, you do. Asking for help is a strength. Do it. The next question here is, any suggestions for procrastination? Look at all the things that you don't want to do and do them first. So put your hit list together. Look at the things, almost underline them. These are the ones highlighted I don't want to do. I'm going to procrastinate. So do them first. As a boss, what kind of personality do you look for when you employ people? I think most of all, and first of all, I look for capability. I think in a business you want diversity. Yeah. So just because somebody is a bit introverted or a bit quiet or thoughtful or full on, I think, that's fine. So the last thing I do is say, we want an extrovert. Or for this kind of role. What I'm going to be saying is, for this kind of role, I need a good organizer, or I need a good communicator. Your businesses need all kinds and different shapes of people. Then the next question this person asks, at present, should I work hard at studying or find an internship to gain experience? I'm not sure you're going to like this answer. You've got to do both. You've got to do both. By the time you've finished your degree, you really want to have a CV that says, hey, I'm an interesting person. I think Simon, you've been talking about resilience. What helps support your resilience? Resilience is such a critical entrepreneurial skill. It's that ability to bounce back. It's that ability when failure hits you in the face, which it certainly will do an awful lot, that you can take a deep breath, learn lessons, bounce back and keep going. And I suppose what supported my resilience is the belief in what I was doing, the hunger that I have for success. And I was always very driven and wanted to prove myself and be the best that I can. And so there's determination to succeed. I think people are too worried about failure. You learn more from your failure in a way, I think you do, than from your successes. And you're also going to learn from failure how to pick yourself up and keep going. I think a lot of people try to avoid failure. And by doing that, they're a bit cautious about being risky or about being bold. And therefore, they don't develop their resilience skills. Golly, here's a question. What did you lose after creating your first business? And that's free time. Yeah. The funny thing is, the great upside of being an entrepreneur is eventually you get all of that time back and more, and you're in control of your time. And to a large extent, you can do what you want and go where you want. But at the beginning, when you start a business, you lose free time because there isn't any. Yeah, you're consumed by your business, and it needs you to get it going, and that can last quite a few years. I think if you have a business partner, That gets a bit easier because you have somebody to share that pressure with. I think also you lose a certain amount of mental health, yeah, because there is a lot of anxiety, yeah. You're worrying because you've taken risk. You're worrying that you want to get everything moving and you want to find success, and that occupies your mind day and night. Okay, quite a long question here. I'm going to try and paraphrase it. It's about sales. I'm a student right now, but if I start my own business, how do I get my first customer? Is it better to maybe go and work for a business first? Now, that's a great question. For my own experience, that's what I did. Yeah, I mean, I worked in the banking and then the conference and events world as an employee for probably 8-9 years. Yeah. So my advice to you is, if you do that, that's where you'll find clients. Because when you're building your experience, you're meeting people. And there's nothing more important than meeting people. Your capability to network and stay in touch with these people is so important. These are your clients. I wish I'd understood that earlier. Of course, when I started work, there was no LinkedIn. There were no social network platforms that really enabled you to even network with people more powerfully. But now there are, and there's no excuse. If you're not on LinkedIn, you should be. Every person you meet is a possible client, even though you don't quite know what your business is right now. Yeah? But relationships, people who trust you, refer you on to other people. I would say the majority of the business that I've had for my businesses has been through recommendation and referral. It is the most powerful way to get clients. Now, my businesses are mainly service businesses. Obviously, when you come to maybe a retail or product or manufacturing business, how you find clients is a little bit different. But you still will need relationships that maybe will open up opportunities to getting your product, out to the wider public, through shops, through stores, through and through online. So there a little bit of sales there. I mean, all right, we're doing quite well. This is quite a long one. Yeah, hold on. So this is about side hustles. Yeah, this person has a passion for travel and wants to start their own travel agency independently, but they're finding it hard to get out of it can't just be a side hustle mindset and move it into a business mindset. So how do I do that? So, I hear a lot about side hustles, and I think they're great. They're a place to experiment and develop your entrepreneurial skills. There will come a day when you will look at your side hustle and go, I've got something here, but it never really gets going. And the reason for that is it needs you all. It needs you for 24/7, 365. So there will come a point where you go, actually, to make this side hustle really successful, I'm going to love it and live it. And what that means is it's not a side hustle anymore. It's the man, it's the woman, it's the key thing. Yeah, it's what you're living and doing every second of the day. And you give it a huge amount of focus, love, and dedication. You may also need to give it investment, and that's when you may need to find investors or find your own money that allow you to generate momentum in this business. But what's stopping you to a large extent, I imagine, from it being a business rather than a side hustle is just risk. There will come a point where you think, I'm going to make this a going concern and I'm going to take the risk. And I think really what I want you to understand is if you can make it a success, the upside is so huge. Actually, I really think the risk is quite small. Yeah. And also, when you're young, maybe, you haven't got children, you hopefully haven't taken on commitments, mortgages, stupid car loans, the risk is really minimal. This is all about people management. People have asked me, how do you manage people successfully? How do you manage people who have more experience than you? That's an interesting one. And how do you improve employee loyalty? I always remember when just before I set up my own business, I was speaking to somebody who was trying to talk me out of it because to run their business. And I said, no, but they said to me, the hardest thing about running a business won't be the clients. It will be managing your people. And they're right. Without successful, skilled, motivated, passionate employees or people, you're stuffed. Yeah. So people management skills, listening skills, communication skills, leadership skills, these are all really critical. Yeah, and I actually think a really key ingredient is to show you care. Yeah, it's so easy to get so consumed in your business and walk through the office and not sit down with people and not ask how they're doing. You need to be interested in, what they did this week and last week. You need to offer advice in positive ways, and you really need to reward and recognize success and help where people are struggling. In those ways, you build a team, you build a strong culture, you build employee loyalty. It is hugely challenging and very time consuming, but it's really worth it. I think one of the things I feel the most satisfied about the businesses I've run is that I've helped launch quite a number of people's careers. They've come to my organisations, they've worked for 3 or 4 or 5 years, and then they've gone off to do other things. But we've given them a great springboard and platform to really learn. How do you manage people who have more experience than you? Do you know, you show them respect. You listen to their leadership and their advice. You are humble. Actually, a successful business is about employing people who are better than you. Yeah? Better salespeople than you, better communicators, better marketing people than you. That is what it's all about. So actually, it's all about managing people with more experience. And what you want to do is give them the freedom to really live and leverage that experience to benefit the business. But how do you combat your shortcomings? Now, I am quite a short guy, and I didn't get myself any stilts, but I suppose I combated my shortness by my volume. People always know I'm in the room. If you can't see me, you can hear me. I think the way to combat your shortcomings, first of all, is to be wise enough to be able to spot them. Yeah. And often that's about listening to advice from other people or seeking advice, to try and understand what they are, get some feedback. Yeah. And in this world, people don't seek help enough. It is a strength to ask for help. It is a strength. So there are a few questions on here as well. They must be themed. This one says, I find it hard to make the right decisions, especially when working with friends. That is so key. I think when you mix business and friends, it can be quite dangerous because you've got the complexity of business objective and, emotional impact too. I think the key thing to help you manage these relationships successfully is to draw up rules. Draw up rules of engagement, yeah? And the key thing here, these are things like, we've got a phrase like, take the emotion out of the room. There is an agreement that you don't get heated or emotional, and one or the other person, if you start to do that, can point that out and say, look, we need to take the emotion out of the room. There was also another rule, which is if we don't agree, it just means we've got the wrong answer. Yeah? We've just got to keep talking, and one of us will change our minds or maybe think of something else. So disagreement was actually seen as a positive thing, part of the path to finding the right answer. And then what you do is you put those rules on a piece of paper and you pin them to the wall for every single meeting and discussion you have. That's what I think I'm going to take a rest there, actually. Hi folks, just one more thing. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and click that bell. That'd be great. If you're watching it on LinkedIn, join my LinkedIn Entrepreneurship discussion group. Thanks very much.